Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om Swami.
Hari Om Swami.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Swami.
Pranam, pranam, pranam. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Yesterday, 3 important things we covered. It is directly linked to our daily life. Probably if something of it remains with us, it may be helpful for a harmonious life. Because not only that we will be happy within, we will also become cause for happiness to others. The 3 austerities, body, speech, and the mind. Anybody remembers anything from that?
Charvama.
Huh?
Charvama told Swamiji.
Yeah.
Ahimsa.
Hello, Swamiji.
Ah.
Revering evolved souls, number 1. Number 2 is purity, Shaucham. Then number 3 is straightforwardness. Then Brahmacharyam, then Ahimsa. All these are the austerities of the body.
That is reverence of the elders, purity in thought, word, and deed,
And
straightforwardness, brahmacharyam, and finally ahimsa. As much as possible we will try. And when we come to the speech level,
then
don't refer any books. Whatever that comes to your mind is okay, no?
Okay.
Vangmaya tapam. That is why, need not be in the chronological order. So first comes, Priyam, Hitagaram, Satyam. Then we try to read good books, to dwell on the higher. And the first one is? What is that? Our talk should not be a vexation to ourselves. They should not get, bored. tired. So these are the 3, 4, 5 things. So it should
Of
be,
the speech, austerity of the speech.
and then must mind,
Mind.
serenity,
Saumyatvam. Saumyatvam.
saumyatvam, gentleness,
Talking less. Maunam.
Mauna.
maunam, correct, Pinna. Self-control and motive, pure motive behind everything. The motive is decided by the mind, When you try to help, when you try to do something, whether it is with the motive of praise, recognition, power, or whether it is pure love. So these are the, before that, the Lord has answered. This comes under Sattvic category. So before that, he has already elaborately discussed about what comes under the Tamasic category and Rajasic category. We are not applying our mind. Because if we concentrate upon the Sattvic, that is the purpose, It gives us some direction as to what we have to do hereafter.
Swamiji, Shloka 13.
Huh?
13. Shloka 13 it says.
Vidhivihinam asishtanam, mandrahinam adakshinam, shraddha virahidam yajnam tamasam. I told you, Now this is about what we have discussed. These are all, because in the 17th chapter he says, Shraddhaya paraya tapudam tapasta trividam narehi avalagam kshirbir yuktaihi satvikam pariyakshati. Phalagam, without expectation of the fruit and with the total shraddha. These 3 types what we have discussed, if they do that, it is called satvikam. So before that he talks about, in the 13th he talks about tamasic, and 12th he talks about rajasic. Again in the 11th he says yajna in different types. Probably this one, the actions, again that is again divided into sattvic and rajasic. 8th he says, we are not reading it because these negative things, why do we unnecessarily think about it? Let us try to concentrate upon that which has to be cultivated. Same thing will happen in 18th also. Again he will repeat. This 18th we thought it is a summary. It is not summary. Because in spite of hearing all these things, in spite of interaction, still the doubt remains in all of us. Whatever said and done, we know, we don't have to go and see for ourselves. We ourselves are hearing. Again we will come with some doubts. We may not openly talk it out, but it must be still lingering in our mind. So here in this 18th chapter begins with that doubt. Ranganathan Swamiji says, the chapter opens with a question from Arjuna. Arjuna's question is our question. We will have the same problem. We all have the same problem. Arjuna had put many questions to Sri Krishna in the various chapters. And in this, the chapter, the way of liberation, Sri Krishna answers them, but somehow or other Arjuna is persistent in his questioning. These questions persistently arise in our mind also. The question which Arjuna asks once again is, shall I keep quiet or shall I act? Shall I work? Is performing some work better or is sitting quiet better? Without work one cannot live. With work there is trouble. What are we to choose? Fundamental problem. If I do something, controversy comes. Without work, I cannot live also. Think about it. Shall I keep quiet? Shall I act? Shall I work? Is performing some work better or is sitting quiet better? Without work, one cannot live. With work, there is trouble. So what are we to choose? Lokamanya Tilak in Gita Rahasya says the same, echoes the same principle. If you do work, some trouble will come. If you don't do any work, no trouble will come. And the Hindu decided, we shall not do any work at all. That is how this country became very, very poor. Not that we were less intelligent. But the heart is craving for many things. Lot of hypocrisy came into human life because of that. The heart is craving, but the mind says, I shall not do anything. Therefore, all trouble came. So Arjuna asks, O mighty Rishikesha, Sannyasasya Mahabaho Tattvamichchami Veditum Tyagasya cha Rishikesha Pratakkeshi Nishudana. O mighty Rishikesha, O slayer of Keshi, I desire to know severally the truth of sannyas as also of tyag. Sannyasi is, let us see what he says. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu sarva karma phalatyagam pragustyagam vichakshana. The Lord answers, renunciation of kamya actions. That means with expectations. The sages renunciation of it. The sages understand as sannyas. The wise declare the abandonment of the fruit of all works as tyaga. Renunciation of all kamyanam karmanam. Desire prompted actions, either for worldly benefit or for heavenly benefit. That is sannyas. Nyasa means giving up. Some nyasa means completely giving up. Vichakshanaha, wise people, they say, sarva karma bhalatyagam. You don't give up action, you give up only the fruit of all actions and continue to work. That is called tyagi, tyaga. This can be done by bhakti, by dedicating the fruits of action to the divine, and or through jnana, the mind taken away from the fruits of action. Attachment to the fruits is actually attachment to the separate ego that you and I are. When I am attached to this separate ego, then I am attached to the fruit of action. In the Gita, we find reference to Sarva Bhuta Hiterata and Loka Sangraha. I work for the good of the world, good of society, good of all people. There the ego as a separate entity vanishes. It feels its oneness with the world outside. Even the father or the mother feels his or her oneness with the children around. That is why he or she works. Why not extend it beyond the genetic limitations? The Gita wants us to do that. When you live in a society, you must take society into account. And today's society is not only national, but is international. Kamyanam karmanam Nyasa. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu sarva karma phalatyagam prahustyagam vijakshana. We have shared this in the satsang, but again it comes back to us. I think 2-3 decades ago. We were in touch with a orphanage in Calicut. Even newly born babies, there is a small cradle type box outside the building. If they are reluctant to show their face, they can keep their child there. When the child cries, the matron comes out, then takes the child and brings them up. And otherwise, children who lost their mother, say first year or second year or third year, and the father finds it extremely difficult to take care, he brings. Something happens to the mother, she becomes invalid or immobile, so the father brings. So like that, children who are absolutely orphans. When we went there on that day, there were about 200 and odd children. The matron, the chief, is a very saintly lady. So ashram used to support them on those days. Now they have wound up, so we have stopped. So we went there just to see and to find out how many children are there. When we were sitting, she was talking to somebody and she raised her voice. And then we knew she was crying. So after some time, the couple came, they apologized, they went back. We gave a pause moment for 5 minutes. When she cleared her eyes, we moved to her. She immediately said, sorry. I said, what happened? She said, one day when I opened the door in the cradle, there was a child. And that child somehow became very close. She was with me only. I take her for bathing, feeding, newborn child. And then after 2-3 years, this couple came for adoption. As soon as they saw this child, they preferred this child. Thinking that the child will have a good future, I also said yes. So the legal formalities were conducted and finally they took the child. But at the time of leaving, I told them, every 6 months you should bring and show me. These people did not turn up for a year. So that is why I said, you don't know the pain. You have not given birth to a child, nor have you brought up a child when it was in this infant stage. When I told you to bring, I was every day thinking you will one day bring. And that is why I raised my voice. Then I said, you have 200 odd children. Suppose you develop this attitude to everybody, how can you survive? You should be happy if, say, a couple comes and takes a child so that, they will have good future. She said, you are right. Not that I am getting attached to any children. But some children, when you bring them for some time, it will still be there, lingering. Not that we have got any vested interest. I personally gave the child. When I read this, Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam. Sannyasam kavayo viduhu. I was just looking at her, you know. How many children? All are her children. But still, specifically, she knows every child. She was able to identify herself as the mother of all children. One will be in tears when she takes care of them. She has no vested interest. It was purely out of love, no? She did not want the child to be brought back. But she said, you have told me, na, that you will, every 6 months you will bring. They profusely apologized. They did not bring this time because they thought if the child sees, again suppose the child refuses to come, they have become attached to the child. Which also they told her freely, frankly. Then she said, no, that is okay. You keep, but you should at least bring. I will ensure that the child goes back with you. So we were able to see that though it is not attachment, it is pure love. And the way in which she was calling them and all the children. Similarly, we had in Tamil Nadu also when we found 40 children, no, that mother. They don't bother about anything. As soon as they come from the school, I was there at that time. What is that place? 30-40 kilometers from Coimbatore, no? Where textile, Tirupur. Tirupur. When we went to Tirupur, we were taken to this institution where she's an educated MA graduate. She refused to get married. She was taking care of 40-45 orphans. And when we reached there, it was about 4:30. Children were coming from the local school. As soon as they come, they immediately kept their bag, rushed up to her. No? It's a lesson for all of us, how to be detached at the same time affectionate. And that means karma phalam. See, they don't expect the child to be with them throughout. As long as God keeps them there, they pour their affection. And afterwards, if nobody comes forward, they are given education. They are, like any other place, they get into some vocational training center, they get a job, they get married. Once in a way, they come and see this place, that's all. If they are very small, couple come there and they adopt after observing all the legal formalities. So the third one, so what is Tyagam? Tyagam, he says, wise declare the abandonment of fruit of all works as Tyagam. The first one is Kamya Karmana. That means desire-based activities, when you renounce, it is called sannyas. When you renounce the fruit of action, it is called Tyaga. Here, again, the other day we had quoted, I don't know how many of you remember, Hitopadesha. In Hitopadesha, this has been dealt with. Nobody need go to forest, no? It's a beautiful slogan. Vanepi dosha prabhavanti raginam griheshu sarvendriya nigraha stabaha agusside karmaniya pravartade nivritta ragasya griham tapovanam. How to convert our griha as a tapovanam? Instead of going to a forest, how to convert our own house as a tapovanam. Beautiful. You want to leave the home and society and go to a tapovanam to achieve your spiritual development? No. You can convert your home itself into a tapovanam. How? Vanevi dosha prabhavanti raginam. Those who have sensory attachments in the mind, even if they leave the home and go to a forest, they will have great trouble there. Outwardly we think we have got over, but the remnants are still there, attachment to many things. So that will create havoc. The mind is also going with them. The same mind which was there, the mind has not been refined. It is crude. So they have left behind only the worldly life at the body level. But the mind is full of raga or attachment. Therefore, he or she cannot get the fruit of the renunciation. Griheshu sarvendriya nigrahastabaha. Whereas, to live in the household with one sensory system well disciplined, that is real tapas. Griheshu sarvendriya nigrahastabaha. To live in the household with one's sensory system well disciplined. Therefore, akusite karmaniya pravartade, those who are engaged in blameless deeds in society, nivritya ragastya griham tapovanam, one whose attachment has been conquered, his or her home becomes a tapovanam or a forest retreat. When he is answering the sannyasa and tyaga, Ranganatha brings this beautiful sloga from Hitopadesh. So nothing need be done. Be in your own place, but have some control. Think about the transitory nature of everything, even relationship, but do your duty in a detached way. Then you are converting your own home as tapovanam. This is the final teaching that has come out of all these discussions of the great minds. And Sri Krishna takes up all this and gives us this remarkable advice. We can have realization here and now. We need not seek for it in a faraway forest or anywhere in a heaven. Because the truth that we are seeking is already within us. Where should we run to getting it? It is here only. One person said, I want to be a scientist. I want to have a scientific mind. I will go there and get the scientific mind. What does that person mean by saying that he or she has to go somewhere to get a scientific mind? Even here we can make our mind scientific. Search for the truth, discipline the mind, and we can have it here. Search for the truth, discipline the mind, we can have it here. Why go here and there? It is like, I will go there to breathe oxygen. Why? Wherever we are, there is oxygen. We have to just breathe it, that's all. Similarly, it does not make sense to say, I will be spiritual there. Why not here? The truth first came prominently from the Upanishads through the Gita. Here, not there. And in this modern age, Ramakrishna puts it here and there. He says here is jnana, there is ajnana. Just to see the language. Truth is somewhere there, that is ajnana. Truth is here itself, that is jnana or knowledge. Sri Krishna is giving us that jnana in this concluding 18th chapter. We are slowly entering into the 18th chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So it is not something to be got from outside. It is to realize His presence within. You can work either with selfishness or work with altruistic intentions. A man like the late so and so, speaks for the need for a little altruistic impulse in modern civilization. Human capacity to go beyond the ego limitation. We can put it in an understandable language. Raise ourselves from the present level. Whenever we deal with men and matters, we try to ensure that we don't deal it with our own level. We try to see, we know intellectually now that God is within us. If we try to deal men and matters from the individual level, we are ignoring Him. So we try to raise ourselves to a little higher than the me and mine level, initially. What is this me and mine level? My fixed notions, fixed resolves. My rights and wrongs, my likes and dislikes, my preferences, my priorities, my craving for my power, position, status. All this put together is me and mine. And if I react from this level, that means I am inviting trouble. But if I try to raise myself a little higher than this, then I am trying to view from His level, God's level. So that means, you become one with all. Previously, I am separate, you are separate. And so the problem continues. If I raise a little higher, I and you become one. So I try to address problems dispassionately. You don't become one-sided. This is the central theme of the whole Gita. The whole yoga of the Gita is that wonderful attitude of oneness with all. And whatever fruits come from the works I do, that will go for the good of all, and not only for my own petty little self. So these two definitions are given in these verses: renunciation of kama karma and sarva karma phalatyag. Again, to emphasize that, he goes to the next sloka. Tyajyam dosha vadityega yage karma prahur manishinaha yajna dana tapa karma na tyajyam iti chapare. We have elaborately discussed about yajna, dana and tapas, that we should never forgo. Yajna is for giving back to the nature. Dana is giving back to the society. Tapas is giving back to the body. Whatever we have taken, we are replenishing it. This should not be abandoned. Some philosophers declare that all actions should be relinquished as evil, while others say that the work of yajna, dana, tapas should not be relinquished. He gives a dispassionate opinion. Then, nishchayam shrunu. Nishchayam shrunu me tatra tyage bharata sattama tyago hi purusha vyagra trivita samprakirtitaha. Hear from me the final truth about tyaga or renunciation. For renunciation has been declared to be of three kinds. Now he explains about three types of renunciation. Yajna dana tapa karma. Na tyajyam karyameva tad. Yajnodanam tapaishchaiva. Pavanani manishinam. The work of yajna, dana and tapas should not be relinquished, but it should indeed be performed. Yajna, dana and tapas are purifying agents according to the wise. Again we repeat, we take so much from the nature, So we should do something back. Anything that is productive, anything that is creative is coming under the term yajna. We are using so many things, so we should be productive. We have been the beneficiary of so many things the society has done, so we give them dana. Dana stands for not charity, though that is called charity. Including our income tax, Why do we pay income tax? A government is needed, For a country, a government is needed. To run that, they need money. So they facilitate everything for our living. So a part of our earning also goes back to them. That is the rationale behind income tax. Similarly, to the society there are so many institutions who are taking care of the lesser privileged ones. We cannot close our eyes. God will somehow make us to get in touch with them. So we try to part with whatever we have. Not only in money, it can be in the form of your presence, in the form of your work, in the form of, in any form. And tapas is every now and then we are taxing our body, so we have to replenish it. Sometime during 60s, late 60s, probably this concept came to all companies, all commercial institutions. Then they brought this concept of leave travel facility, LTF. Every year, the employees will be requested to go, and the travel expenses will be met by that company. You can name the destination. On those days, train, So leave travel facility. Because they have been working at least for 10 days or 15 days, they must get a respite. Yajna, dana, tapas. So in a language understandable to us, Even I hope it still continues. I don't know. That was the concept then. They are working, they need holidays. And then yajna, dana, tapas. It should be performed renouncing attachment and the fruits. Such is my best and certain conviction. Here you see the language used by Lord Krishna. He never says it should be done. This is what I feel. I strongly feel. A message to all of us. The humbleness comes there. We don't impose. But at the same time, we emphatically declare, Based upon our experience, we get some convictions. And that conviction, because it is based upon our knowledge, our experience, we are passing it on to others. But at the same time ensuring that this is what I feel. Nishchitam matam uttamam. Such is my best and certain conviction. So the even jnana, yajna, dana, tapas, it should not be done with any phalapeksha. The renouncing attachment and the fruits. Dukkhamityeva yatkarma kaya klesha bhaya tyajet sakritva rajasam tyagam naiva tyaga phalam labed. But even the renunciation of action of the obligatory nature is not proper. Abandonment of the same from delusion is declared as tamasic. If I run away from the yajna, dana, tapas, I should not. My commitment towards society, my commitment towards nature, my commitment towards the body, Because the body has to be kept healthy, Otherwise I will feel sick. Instead of my serving others, I will make others to serve me. So each shloka we have to see for ourselves. We are not guided purely by what the text say. What the Lord prompts us from within to make us understand this shloka. That is why Papa used to say, even if in search of Papa. There he says, even if what Ramdas says, don't take it. It should be in line with your internal conviction. Very important. I got it, tell him.
Got it, Swamiji.
He says, seek guidance always from within. If what Ramdas says is in agreement with your inner voice, follow it. Don't accept Ramdas' suggestion without a sanction from within. So this is how he brings it out. He doesn't impose his views. Seek guidance always from within. If what Ramdas says is in agreement with your inner voice, follow it. Don't accept Ramdas' suggestion without a sanction from within. The more a man becomes reflective and meditative, the nearer he approaches the truth. The same is echoed by Lord Krishna. This is what I feel. Even in the 63 or 64th chapter, he will say to Arjuna, I have told you what is to be conveyed. Now it is for you to accept it or follow it. Iti te jnanam akhyadam guhyad guhyataram maya vimrde shaitya asheshena yadechasi tata guru. I have given you all this. You think over it. And then whatever you feel like, yadechasi tata guru. You feel like you do it. You think over. So this is also another lesson Bhagavad Gita is telling us. It is not mugging up slogas, reproducing it, learning by heart. No. We try to get some clues and then we do the reflection and then integrate it with our mind here, and so that it becomes a part of us. We are not just hearing and then following it. So we are trying to make it a part of our life. So he says, seek guidance always from within. If what Ramdas says is in agreement with your inner voice, follow it. Don't accept Ramdas's suggestion without a sanction from within. The more a man becomes reflective and meditative, the nearer he approaches the truth. So, where are we now? Karyamityeva yat karmam. So he also says that based upon the convictions you have developed after going through the Vihida Avihida karmas, what is to be avoided, what is to be done. And renouncing the sense of agency that I am doing it, and also free from the expectation of the results. Whatever you do, that is called Tyaga in the Sattvic sense. Then, the 10th sloka, Nadhyeshtya kushilam karma kushale nanushajjate tyagi sattva samavishto methavi chinna samshaya. The renouncer, endowed with the sattva, who is wise and with one's doubts dispelled, hates not a disagreeable work, nor is attached to an agreeable one. Many such things will crop up in our life. That which is disagreeable, that which is agreeable. But here the Lord says, He will, when one is rooted, the renouncer, if he is well rooted in sattva, he will even do. I used to, we had a friend in Wayanad, out and out atheist, a good friend of ours. So when once we came to ashram, we took Papa's universal prayer, and when we met him, he is good at Malayalam. So we gave him this. Please translate and give it to me. He looked at it and he looked at me. Me? I said, yes. So it doesn't go along with his conviction. But when somebody asks, he translated in such a way no Bhakta can translate. But at the same time, while giving to me, he said, I don't subscribe anything to what I have written. Here he says, the renouncer endued with sattva, who is wise and with one's doubts dispelled, hates not a disagreeable work, nor is attached to an agreeable one. God is teaching us through experience, whether these are all textual truths or actual truth. These are all 100%. That's why we said we have to stitch it with our own experience so that, is it possible to do something which is disagreeable to me perfectly? Because the other person wants, I will do it perfectly. I may not subscribe. But my not subscribing it should not prohibit me from helping others. That's a wonderful one. The worker is that worker is a medhavi or intelligent. Chinna samshaya, freedom. What type of worker? Nadveshti akushalam karma. One who does not get upset over an unpropitious action. And kushalena anusajjate. One who does not get attached to propitious action. He or she is not frightened by both. He is one endowed with that type of tyaga and established in sattva. The whole mind of that person is immersed in sattva. He or she is medhavi. very intelligent. What kind of intelligence does he possess? He or she possesses the intelligence called medha. Medha is a great word in Sanskrit. According to the yoga philosophy, the best intelligence energy of the system, refined, further refined, becomes ultimately medha. This explanation we would like to read because it's very wonderful. Your psychic energy can be just ordinary energy, but it can be refined, further refined, until it becomes medha energy or medha shakti. Shankaracharya gives a beautiful definition of this medhavi. That medha or intelligence which is of the nature of Atmajnana or knowledge of the self, endowed with the kind of wisdom. This medha is that intelligence which has touched the Atman. Out of that comes wisdom. One who has that medha is called medhavi. What kind of medha shakti? You find the prayer, let me have medha. Taittiriya Upanishad also has prayed, let me have medha shakti. Not mere intellect, but something luminous, something higher. That kind of refined energy, where the refinement is the highest, is what makes the medha. Our people knew that the psychic energy which flows in us can be purified, refined, made better. Even cultural improvement can come only from this refinement of psychic energy. One may be a crude ruffian. What has happened to that person? His or her psychic energy is of that crude type, so that person behaves in that way. The same person can become more gentle, more courteous. What a beautiful development it will be then. So we have to refine the psychic energy. If we look back to our own life, right from childhood, unknowingly we have been refining it. Previously we were finding it difficult to find an answer. As we grow from class to class, we may be able to find an answer for everything. We become more, observing. We try to learn. We try to become attentive. We try to watch. We try to absorb and assimilate the great teachings. These are all processes of refining. Our crude intelligence is getting refined and refined and refined. Somebody will be there. You first write a letter. You draft a letter. Somebody comes and says, it can be improved upon like this. 2 or 3 such things. Later on you improve. Even anything, when we observe our mother doing kitchen work, we try to assist her, and later on we independently do it. Refining. So that kind of energy. Our people knew that this psychic energy which flows in us can be purified, refined, made better. Even cultural improvement. So we have to refine our psychic energy. This refinement carried on to the highest level gives us one medha shakti. A touch of the Atman has come to this energy in this human system. That is why in 2nd chapter he made the mention, Yoga Karma Sukaushalam. We bring efficiency in action. In whatever we do, we make it perfect. Perfection, excellence. That is the expressed form of refinement. We were at one time a crude, out of that we have come to realize. How did we come about? By this change we took place within each individual. A certain restraint comes on the sensory psychic system, so the psychic energy becomes purer and purer. How did we learn music? How did we learn anything, It did not come from outside. Every day you do sadhagam, The music teacher tells you, he puts you on that line, but you practice yourself. and then you get a grip. So the refining tendency is there in all of us. It is not new. But the refinement should touch the Atman, that is it. From me to we, and we to him. That is the refinement. When it is me to me, it is crude. When it moves from me to we, somewhat refined. And we to him, totally. Even when one goes to school or college or study, he or she must get this development, though we do not emphasize it now. In fact, some become even more crude by education. An uneducated person is not crude as some of the educated. That is so because education does not touch this wonderful dimension. By some knowledge. In fact, that makes the psyche more dangerous. Anyway, extremely rude and crude. They have not refined their psyche at all. So this danger if this value-based education does not come to humanity. That is not taking place. Within the next 50 years, we will have many crude people full of violence. People are already afraid that such a situation may come. A crude community will come which is very violent. So this refining of inner energy is the essence of character development. In this 10th sloka of 18th, it is a pointer to all of us. We have to do a lot of thinking. All human growth and development come from this particular discipline, refinement. The mind must become a refinery. Not as you think you come it out. Impulsively you bring it out. But it goes there, get it refined and then come out. And then we can see how the sattvic quality of the body, the tavashcharya of the body, speech and mind. It is because of this refinement. In the 17th sloka, 17th chapter, we heard about the 3 types. How do we get it? While reacting to events and individuals, we do not immediately react. We try to make it to go through this process. The process is that he is there in everybody. I should not be a disturbance. My talk should not be a disturbance to anybody. My action should not be a disturbance to anybody. My mind should be serene. All these things come out of. They have given us practical clues how to make it refined. So when a child is between 7 years and 10 years of age, it must be told gently that its energy within needs to be refined. One washes one's clothes and makes it clean. Why not do a little of it your mind also? The mind also needs to be cleaned. But the mind cannot be cleaned by water or soap. You must have jnana to clean. We saw it in the 4th chapter. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. There is nothing so purifying as jnana in the world. So the mind can be purified only by jnana. The secular academic knowledge cannot do this, but through some spiritual development that has taken place, there is the refining of the energy within. This is something. If children develop in this way, they will not only be educated, but they will also become cultured. Culture comes only from this inner refinement. Otherwise, there is no culture at all. We have to stress this more and more because we get plenty of physical energy, animal energy when we are young. We eat well, we can play, we can do everything. There is danger of too much energy unless it is made constructive and creative. Otherwise, your youth energy can spell disaster for the whole nation. We are seeing this happening slowly in highly materialistic society all over the world because the second step, the refining of our psychic energy, has not taken effect at all. So the psychic energy must be refined into medha, and then one becomes a medhavi, chinna samshaya, having no more doubts. At this stage, there will be no doubt at all. This is the type of spiritual development as mentioned in this verse. So, in these 10 stanzas, there are about 78 slokas. Today, we have covered, technically, we have covered 10, but we try to go through it again and again. Sannyasam and Tyagam. Yajnadana tapas, not to be abandoned, but at the same time we have to ensure that it is free from attachment and expectation of the results of action. We should not appropriate the result only to ourselves. And the most important thing is, every thought, before it comes out as an action, somehow we have to make it go through the refinery. We plumb deep. Just now Papa said, we hear a new dimension. But at the same time, check up whether it is in alignment with your inner being. Otherwise, it will be there only for a short time and you will forget about it. You will say, Papa has said, Gita has said, Krishna has said, that's all. So what? It stays at the peripheral level, superficial level. It doesn't come from the bottom of the mind because it has not been integrated with your life. So every new thought, when it comes, we try to see whether it is in the inner alignment is there with it. Then only it becomes mine. So that has been exhaustively dealt with. The rest of the things we will take it up because it's a big chapter. In between, if anything strikes to anybody, they can point out so that we will again apply it. We don't want to complete any slogas. We want to get some more clues to refine our life, that's all. We should be a better person wherever we are. A better family being, a better professional, a better social being, a better student, a better parent, a better friend. In any field we are, we should become better. Good, better and best. That is the purpose.
In Vinobaji's book, they have said what the universal test of renunciation. I have not understood that. Can you please tell that tomorrow?
Tomorrow, what did you say?
The universal test of renunciation mentioned by Vinobaji.
Universal?
Test of renunciation.
Universal test. It's a beautiful word. Everything we apply this test, laboratory test, whether it is becoming universal, cosmic, from the individual to the universal. That is the one which decides whether I am free from selfish interest. We will take it up. Yes, this has to be, that is also a very important point. Universal test. Every now and then we have to put it on test. Otherwise, we become subscribed only to me and me, me and me, me and me. That is why at the time of opening this ashram, Papa has clearly mentioned the ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity in everybody. Otherwise it becomes again cramped and localized, individualized. Very important point. So if it is based upon the vision of divinity, then only it can become universal. Because we are trying to identify the common factor in everybody. The mother and the child see something common, which is called love. The friend and friend see something common, that is why he is a friend. Everywhere you see that. Wherever there is love, That common factor has been identified. In the absence of love, me to me becomes very strong. I will not bother about anybody, anything. Only me and mine, me and mine. So Papa wanted everyone to expand from me to we to him. That is what he said, universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity. And that is why he gave this Nam Seva Dhyan. Nama to remember that common factor, Seva to express it in our daily life, and Dhyana to feel the presence of the common factor within us. So that is very important, universal test, universal test. So he viewed it, the 18th chapter viewed it from that, he gave a lot of importance for the easy way to understand, instead of going through the slogas.
This also becomes Yajna Dhyana Tapas. Nama Dhyana Seva also becomes...
Same. Like Nama Dhyana Seva has to, we should know now. We have been doing it, just everybody does, we do something. And mechanical chanting was going on. At that time we are happy, that's all. What is happening to me? Am I becoming better, a better person? Where I am moving? This test. Am I becoming better and better in any field? If I am a cook, am I a better cook? If I am a doctor, am I becoming a better doctor? If I am a lawyer, better lawyer. If I am an auditor, like that, if I am a teacher. If I am a father, if I am a mother, if I am a brother, if I am a sister, am I becoming a better person? It is not restricted to any field. That universal test. Yeah. So let us keep this. The 18th chapter, we must eke out the maximum. Because this is the take-home message for all of us. We may not be able to remember all the 17. But 18th chapter, we can pool everything together. So that we will remember, moksha sannyasa means it is not going away anywhere or to the forest or to adore a ochre robe and then go. No. It is a real liberation from me and mine. That is my real liberation. And to become one with the universe, one with Him. So this is what Moksha Sannyasa keeps on reminding me. I should never be limiting myself. The sense of otherness sets limit to the illimitable. I should not limit to anything. I should become expansive in all my thought, word and deed. For that I must reduce the me and the influence of me and mine on me. I may not be successful fully, but to the extent possible, I should try. I keep on trying. That is why He has facilitated us to go through this moksha sannyasa. So let us all do like that and make a resolve that at least we will move 1 inch further. No? Then again 1 inch further every day. In that way, we will be able to reach this moksha sannyas. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om, Pranam, Pranam, Pranam. Hari Om. Yeah. Papa facilitated us to have a good beginning for the 18th chapter.